Atlantia vivere, Atlantia vincere, Atlantia victor. Atlantia vivere, Agartha vivere, Shambhala vivere, Muria vivere. Today, my friends, I will be talking to you about black is white and white is black, as the dragons say, because they have a monochromatic vision. About the reasons why Greece is driven towards bankruptcy. You see, the banks in Greece are real banks. They are the banks of the old times. You can do business with them, real business, not just taking a loan and they will punish you if you don't pay on time. They have money, they are trading partners, they are business partners. There are two important Greek banks in Cluj, Piraeus Bank and Leumi Bank. And Leumi Bank has a program to help people get perfectly legally onto European financing, because Romania still has to get $43 billion or euros from the 2007-2014 allocation funds from the EU development funds, which are given freely. They are non-returnable funds for projects. And of course there is an etatist view in Europe that all the citizens and companies of a country are its slaves. This is an Illuminati thing, a Freemasonry thing. They said on TV that a country has a private part and a public part, and if the public part cannot pay its debt, then they have to take money from the private part through taxes. In other words, the government of Greece is entitled to cut pensions and cut funds to its citizens, and also to close down its banks, although the banks, Leumi and Piraeus and others, are private institutions. And the citizens working there are private citizens. They are not the slaves or the objects of the state. Therefore, in a true system, a freedom and capitalistic system, it is illegal for a government to print money in order to finance in debt and to cut all the revenues of its people. It also may be illegal to give money for free to its citizens. Why should I go to Ponta or to Iohannis or to Elena Udo and ask for money, and they should give me money for me to open up a business? For instance, a computer company. Why? Because that is exactly what the European Union is doing. They are imposing a system of etatism on the world. A system which says that all the citizens and all the private companies are in fact the slaves of their governments. And the government has the right to decide who gets money, who gives money, and so on. And what do they do, and how much do they owe, and when do they have to pay the debt, and how much do they have to work, and when they will retire, at what age they will retire, how many hours do they have to work for each day, at what hour they will wake up, at what hour they will go to sleep, how much sex they will make, and so on, how many children they will have, and so on. And this vision is not shared by the Greek banking system. The Greeks they have a true system of freedom and capitalism. So you go to Leumi Bank and they have a fee of 1.5%, and they manage to explain to you and make all the documentation for you and all the legal stuff and all the bank accounts and so on, because you need to have 2 or 5 or 10 bank accounts in order to deal with the bureaucratic institutions of the European Unions, invariant coins. And because they have this system that a part of money comes from the state of Romania and another part comes from the European Union, and there are double checks and so on. That system is also explained on some governmental sites like e-project or something like that, but the people who were employed there to do the job, they were paid for time, not for work. So they were paid with $100 or $200 per month, and they took the project and they threw all the information on the screen with the fork, and they got paid also $100 or $200 or euro per each page. So there are a lot lot of pages filled with useless information, and you have to understand it all, and you have to hire a consultation firm, which is basically a bank, a small bank. So if you don't want to go to Leumi or to Piraeus Bank to do business with them, you will have to find other people which do the same stuff in Cluj, which are also specialists in legal stuff and financial stuff and so on, and they will do the paperwork for you, and probably they will ask more money and they will be less qualified, or equally qualified, but they will ask far more money from you. And they don't ask money at the end of the project in the form of 1% or 1.5% revenue. They ask money up front. So if you don't have the money up front, as it is the case of yours truly, then you can't pay them. So this is the stuff. This is the issue. And the Illuminati and the world government, they want to close down all the people who are voicing against them. So in fact, as at Market Ticker it is written, this all these sums, trillions of dollars, they do not exist. They are not real money, because in the West, in their etatist system, they believe that money are a form of energy, as of spiritual energy or materialistic energy, when in fact money are simply not an explanation of debt or something that a master owes to a slave, but they are a tool of trade. So if I want to exchange something against other things, this stuff against other stuff, yes, against this stuff, against this pencil, it is best done through money. I have to sell one and buy the other, yes. And this is how civilization was formed since the ancient times. This whole etatist, communist, Illuminati, Freemason system is false. They believe that they can create money simply by betting on derivatives. And what are the derivatives? They are bets, so they are speculative values. If I produce one pair of shoes or one computer and I sell them, I will get some money, yes, and I can buy some bread from the store, from the bread store. On the other hand, if I go to bet on derivatives that some country will go to default, like it is Greece now, and I earn a lot of money by betting against people who say no, Greece will not default, then it is all a matter of opinion. Nothing is produced, and since nothing is produced, all the money which are produced in this fashion of betting are in fact speculative money, and once they are dropped into the commercial system, all the prices will explode. It is natural, because the money supply will go up, very up, and all the other stuff will remain the same, yes, and thus the price of one individual item will go up. So this is how it works. I wanted to go to Leumi Bank and make and obtain some finance for my project, IHL Data Corporation, computers made in 3 flavors with the Zorin OS system, and the bank was closed because Greece is bankrupt. I went to Piraeus Bank, the same stuff. So now people in Greece don't have money for food. The Illuminati want to punish them, and so they say, yes, if at the referendum you vote yes or no or whatever, because they have this false idea that there is a spirit of a country, which exists, the spirit of a country, but you cannot extend the spirit of a country to every individual decision. To say that yes, the spirit of the country manifests itself to whenever we want to call for a referendum. And yes, 44% say yes, 43% say no. Now in Greece I don't know what the outcome will be, but I believe they will say no, which means that they will print drachmas, and 1 drachma will be equal to €1, and in 1 week 1 drachma will be equal to 10 euro cents or 1 cent, and everyone will exchange their drachmas for euros very fast because they will know that they will drop, and the drachma will be no more because no one will use it as a medium of exchange. They will continue to use euros. And you have to remember that the people are the ones who are accepting or rejecting one particular coin. You can give a law in the constitution. You can say in Romania only the Romanian lion is accepted for payment, but this is because of the stupidity of the most people. If most people will decide to trade in Martian dollars, they could do so in the Venusian euros. So this is how it works. Greece will go bankrupt, and whatever will happen, if they vote yes, if they vote no, if they vote yes, the government will resign, and in 1 month they will go bankrupt. Otherwise they will go bankrupt anyway because they have to pay on 14 or 20th of this month some big sum of money, 2 billion, 3 billion. They have to pay $20 billion or euros this month, and they don't have the money. They only have 500 millions in their banks. So Greece will go bankrupt, yes. What will happen next? Well, next, Bank Rome will still exist, Bank Piraeus will still exist, other stuff will still exist in Greece, motorways, autoways, tanks, people, so on. They will be very poor, yes, they will be unable to conduct business for a while, but eventually things will go by the natural order. I know that the Freemasons and the Illuminati believe that in the natural order. The natural order means that if 11 million people suddenly woke up naked, they will make clothes for them, yes, if they need them. So they will make their own coin, they will make their own stuff, they will live outside of the European Union, and slowly they will regain their position, whatever that position was, because everything is a matter of perspective. But you have to admit that this etatist model is flawed, because in the etatist model the state takes 50% of the people who are working like slaves, and they give the money to people who want to create businesses. But those businesses are populated by those slaves from which the state takes half of their income. So anyway, goodbye.